Hey, hey, is this thing on? Where? So what? We get charged. No, I'm just kidding. What's good? What's good, ladies and gentlemen? It's your host, the smoothest fingers in the gaming industry. Do you notice anything a little different? You notice some things that are different in the setup. Does it look good? It's just a rough draft. That'll be more up. I think the Warriors thing needs to go lower, a little bit lower. But I think what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to add a Mavericks one right there because I'm really from Dallas. I'm a Mavericks guy. I really do love the Warriors, though, because I love me some Steph Curry and some Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? Who doesn't? You know what I mean? Who doesn't? All respect to those boys. Let me go ahead and lower myself a little bit so I'm not just being absolutely obnoxious in you guys' ear right now. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I mean, the setup is here. I put some work into this setup lately. It hasn't been a lot. I need to put some soundproofing, some sound padding up in here. Just to make it just a little bit more efficient and effective. But the setup is going well. I just moved into a new spot, a new apartment. So now I am here. I'm in a different setup and things are going pretty well. And I just decided I needed to take a little bit of a break from the usual, traditional stuff I have been doing for a couple years now. I wasn't really taking breaks on this gaming stuff. Even if I wasn't making YouTube videos, I was constantly making content, constantly doing things, and constantly just having to grind, and it became a little bit of a chore. That with some of the stuff of me moving and some of those things that were going on, I just felt like this was the right time for me to do things and to do stuff of that nature. I guess I can move my camera up a little bit so you guys can see the whole background. So you guys aren't just absolutely left out in the cold, you know what I mean? Just left out in the cold. So this is the setup for now. We're going to add some lights and stuff into this, but, just a little bit basic for now so you guys don't think that this is just finished or anything, or that this is crazy. I got me a new gaming chair and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Things are different. Things are looking up. And one thing I want to say is shout out to my homie Khalik. My boy Khalik is on deployment right now. My man provided a lot for me to be able to continue to do this and to help me with what's going on. So big shout out to the homie. Hey, man, we're praying for you while you're overseas in Poland. Much love to the homie. Miss you, love you, all that good stuff. So today, you guys are going to be thinking, the title of the video, AZ. One, I've been gone for a while, on this channel. I haven't talked much about anything Valorant related. I've tweeted about it. I posted on Reddit about it. In fact, one of my Reddits, I'll put it on the screen right now. One of my Reddit posts really did well. And I've been talking a lot about Valorant. I've been keeping up with everything Valorant related. So we'll have tons of those videos. I am committed to this. I didn't know for the longest stand if I wanted to do Valorant. I didn't know what game I wanted to do. I wanted to do COD Mobile at one point. I was doing Apex for a little bit at one point. And of course, I was doing Valorant at one point. But for me, I need to have a game where I can play it consistently and that I enjoy it, to be able to coach it, be able to talk about it, be able to discuss it. And although I don't enjoy Valorant ranked at all, really, and you'll see a video about this coming out soon, and I don't enjoy really the casual scene of Valorant, I thoroughly enjoy competitive. I thoroughly enjoy 10-mans. I thoroughly enjoy just Valorant as a competitive game. I enjoy it. And I'm thinking through this offseason, I'm going to put a lot of work in, really show you guys like coaching and scouting tips, really go through that stuff and hopefully be able to, do this stuff mostly full time. Again, I'll always do content creation. I have other things that I desire to do, which again, I'll save that for the other channels. But on this channel, it'll be primarily Valorant. And I'm going to the COD Mobile World Championships at the end of the year as well. So we'll have more videos on that. But again, we're talking about Valorant. And most importantly today, we're talking about OpTic. And that's where we're going today. We're talking about OpTic. So I'll leave timestamps in these videos. If you've seen the timestamp, you're probably already here. But I'll leave timestamps in these videos to cover different discussions so you can see what's going on. So if you're not interested in me or nothing, you just want to hear me talk about OpTic, here I am. You want to hear me talk about other things, I'll put timestamps in the videos. So it's a rough day. It's a rough day, man. It's a seriously rough day to be able to have to come on here and make this video for you guys. If you guys are familiar with this content, you've been a long time subscriber for both channels, and you know about me, you already know my history with OpTic, right? I've been watching OpTic, been a part of the Green Wall since 2007, 2008-ish with the competitive sniping. I really started competitive sniping. That was my first love in Call of Duty with OpTic Gaming. I fell in love with it from the get-go, watching them play COD 4, D-Treats, those boys back in the day, Hutch, everybody back in the Tumors, Hex, the gang. I really, fell in love with those guys from back then, and just I've been supporting them ever since. When it was, OpTic and versus Rage. I was in some of those lobbies, spectating and watching. Way back in the day. I ran into some of the OpTic people multiple times. I have pictures, videos with Hex in them. Like I said, I'm not some guy who's going to sit here and say, oh, we're best friends or anything. No, I just respect them. I've met them multiple times at COD events. As you can see, I now have some of these, banners and stuff up from different things. I may put up more. I don't know. I'm not really into flexing or anything like that. I have boxes upon boxes of them that I just really don't feel like unpacking. But I've met them at multiple tournaments. Nate Shot in them as well. I remember watching Nate Shot. Black Ops 1's Road to Sniping was one of my favorite series by Nate Shot. I remember when he was going through, the stuff with his mom. And I used to watch every YouTube video, just, waking up, praying and hoping, that stuff would be right with his mom. And, my condolences again, always for him and his mom. It's always been a special place. I felt like his mom was my mom. The stories that he shared, I really appreciated them. Being able to meet him in Vegas, have a few drinks with him was a really cool experience. And I always, share that stuff and, just see them being such a positive force in the gaming industry. Something I always appreciate. Those are my boys. And I keep up with them as much as possible. And I'll always be Greenwall. No matter if they're in Valorant or not, they'll always be Greenwall to me. And I'll always love the Greenwall. That's in my heart forever. That'll always be in my heart. So where are we going with this video? The number one thing I want to say today is thank you. Thank you to Hastro. Thank you to, and with the Envy Boys as well. I've known some of the Envy Boys, most of the Envy Boys as well. Been in lobbies with them, under different aliases and stuff. Not the same person that I used to be or, same alias that I used to be. But like I said, great memories with the Envy Boys as well. I just want to say thank you. This road with Valorant, we established exactly what the Green Wall and what Envy was about. When you had a formation like OpTic and Envy come together, I said this on this channel, it was unbeatable. And you've seen it. The only team that could beat us was Loud, right? Loud was the only team that could step up to the plate and beat us consistently. And shout out to Loud. We'll get into that in a whole nother video on why that was able to happen and, what was going on behind that. And, that's just rivalries, right? You always have these rivalries, and that's just what happens. When you get rivalries like that, it's tit for tat. And it ended on the most equal playing field that you could have got it. OpTic winning earlier in the season and then Loud winning now. I mean, they're as equal as they come. And, OpTic and Envy from the get-go with this roster with Ye, Crashies, and all these boys. And, even going back when we didn't have Ye and we picked up Ye and Marved, I said from the get-go, you can go look at my videos all throughout, the VOD reviews and stuff. I said OpTic were the best team. They played the best synergy. They had the best scouting. And Envy was already a great team before they even decided to go get Ye and Marved. But the scouting and the program and the esports expertise that's over there with those guys, they know what to look for. And they're always there to give and to do and submit and to process, I guess you would say, and recruit a great team no matter what the esport is. They're going to field great talent. They're going to field great teams. And Valorant was a prime example of that. Valorant is the most successful, I would say, organization and the most successful esport in the time period that I think OpTic or Envy has ever fielded. And the reason I say that is because I feel like Valorant is the most complex first-person shooter to ever be created. I think, CS is right there. But the abilities and stuff with Valorant, if you play ranked play, this. If one player is off, if one player is on, or if you play tournaments, more importantly, tournaments, if one player is off, that can throw out the whole game. You know what I mean? If you're using a Sage and your Sage is having an off game, not putting the walls down correctly or miss a wall, or, something like that, somebody's having a bad aim day, it can really mess you up. We've seen some of that with FNS in the final with Loud. I'm not going to blame it all on FNS. There's some other things, but just one thing like that, it can really throw you off in this game. This game is very, very precise, very technical, and I really want to say that. Versus a game like Call of Duty, we always know Call of Duty, OpTic, and Envy. Envy has obviously been, I think, the greatest franchise in terms of championships in Call of Duty, excuse me. And then you have OpTic, it's right behind, right there. We can debate that all day long. But like I said, Envy's been more competitive sided versus OpTic was always kind of content creation. And I say that with respect to both of them. I think they both, excel in both departments. But again, I say that very respectably that I think this is the best team they ever fielded. Just period. The consistency, the ability to be able to win, the ability to be able to come back. They came back multiple times to bounce back, to show that they would learn. Shout out to Chet. Chet's a great coach. Even though I was very critical of him during Champions, just because I'm a coach, I'm very critical of the coaches that I see, not saying that I'm a better coach than him or anything, just trying to help and just point out some flaws that I think Chet can work on coming up for this next season and stuff. But we'll get into that. We'll talk about those things at a later date. But I just want to say thank you, just genuinely thank you. It was a ride. I was there every step of the way. From the day that Valorant started competing, from the day Envy fielded the team, to the day OpTic was formed, I've been with the ride the whole time. To last year, the heartbreaking champs, and this year to see NA do so well in champs. The redemption has come full circle, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you guys so much. It really, this video is very hard to make. It was really sad to see us, not only lose champs, that's a heartbreaking loss, especially to our rivals, but to not only, to also not get franchising is a blow. So where do we go from here, right? What are my thoughts on OpTic? Because this channel will always be an OpTic green wall guy. This is always what it's going to be. I'm always going to be biased. I try to keep my analysis, pretty mutual, pretty rational, logical, but you guys all know where my heart lies, and it's with the green wall. So where do we go from here? What do I think OpTic should go from here? It would be easy for me to sit here and say I think you should field an Ascendant team, right? I think you guys should field one. And in fact, I think you guys should also look into some other things where I'll make a video on where I'll plead my case for wanting to help that Ascendant team and wanting to do that, because I have plans on doing an Ascendant team and working with an Ascendant team this coming season. So, good announcement there, yeah. But I think, you should do an Ascendant team. But again, I don't run any of the finances. I don't run any of the strategy or anything like that with OpTic. I'm just saying when they want to get back in Valorant, your boy will be here. Your boy will be here. And I'm going to make a reputation in Valorant for coaching and scouting. Why I should be a part of that. But we'll leave those to some other videos. But I think where we go from here is apparently there are leaks and rumors, which again, we'll discuss in other videos. There's so much content to make, and I'm excited to make it. I really am, with all these roster manias and stuff like this and all the individual scouting reports that I can do. But it doesn't look like this roster is going to stay together. Ye kind of said that they were looking into it and they were trying to put it together, but it doesn't look like they're going to stay together. And that's saddening, to say the least. It's a little saddening. But at the end of the day, the only thing I can say about it is, what do we do? What do we do about it? The roster had a great run. It's the best roster in Valorant history, by far, bar none. You can't debate it. You can't really go against this. The best, OpTic Gaming is the best team to ever existed in Valorant, and we'll have to see. I don't think anybody will rival them. I mean, just the level of competition that OpTic had to face day in and day out with the type of tournaments and stuff that were being run. I don't think it's debatable. Franchising isn't going to be as competitive. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. I don't think franchising is going to be that competitive. In terms of VCT stuff, I don't think it's going to be that competitive. You have significantly fewer teams. This creates significantly fewer competition. Yes, there will be bench players. There'll be stuff like that, but it won't be as competitive. Anybody could win. I mean, the guard came out of nowhere, right? With Saya Player and those boys, they came out of nowhere. We really didn't predict them this year. I don't think you're going to see much of that. Which sucks. I don't understand why it's 10 teams, but we'll get into the franchising discussion later, and we'll go into that very deeply. But again, my statement here is just to, come out and say, hey, I appreciate everything with OpTic. It's been a great run. Excuse me, a little voice crack there. And I really did enjoy it. Like I said, just breaking down, being able to watch this and be able to go over these things were just fantastic for me, fantastic for others. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Also, I'm noticing as I'm looking at the cameras, why I keep looking down here and not up there, is I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my camera. I'm like, something's weird. It just looks a little weird. Maybe it doesn't when I render this video. I don't know, but right now it just looks weird. So if you see me looking, that's why. But like I said, this is a thank you video to OpTic. I thought OpTic deserved franchising, period. I think the funding was there. I think, the respect was there. The fans was there. The content was there. The team was there. For them not to be in franchising, to me, is why I have never agreed with franchising. It's simple. 10 teams for a continent is already absurd. It's stupid. I think it's dumb. I think that the people who are running the competitive environment over there at Riot are trying to make it League of Legends instead of making it an FPS, instead of making Valorant its own thing. I just think it's retarded, honestly. And excuse my French for saying that. I don't like that word too much, but I do. I think it's absolutely brain dead. For you to have 10 teams across 3 regions, you're fielding 30 teams when mostly players who play will say top 32 is pro, right? We'll say top 32 is pro in a region. That's what we consider it, right? So if you're in North America, you top 32, I consider you pro. You're competing for tournaments all the time. You're playing. You have that objective. You're able to field a competitive team. You're playing for prize pools. You're most likely getting paid consistently. You're being able to stream at a high level. You're probably fielding an Immortal or Radiant team consistently. You're a pro team. So for them not to even have 32 teams, and if you take a look at like most pro organizations across America, MLB, NBA, NCAA, well, I won't go NCAA because now that they're pro, but that's a whole different discussion. But most of the pro things, MLB, NBA, NFL, they have 30 something teams. So for you to say in one place, in one league, you have 30 teams and they don't compete with each other consistently, you have 3 different leagues essentially that all meet up at the end. That's ridiculous to me. I think it should have been, 30 teams in each region, and the top 10 go on to, or the top 10 to 15 go on to Masters, or I'm sorry, yeah, go to Masters, and then Champions has, whoever has the point system there. But since OpTic didn't get in, I think it leaves room for people like me to establish themselves for OpTic. Because if OpTic make franchising, the way for me to get on that team and be a coach or a scout is very slim, right? I don't have much expertise outside of YouTube videos and a couple of, smaller tournaments and then covering VCT every now and then. But now I have a whole off season to prove and talk about all these players. Not only do I have a whole off season, I have a whole nother season or half a season next year to prove my Ascendant abilities and capabilities, and it allows me to excel where I've always said I excelled, which is the amateur, tier two place, where I think is where it needs to thrive. We'll talk about all of that in the future videos, what I think about it, what I think about those systems and everything. But for now, this is my sayonara to OpTic and Valorant. Still will watch everything else. I'm not really interested in any other esport, too heavily right now, other than COD Mobile, and OpTic doesn't even field the team in COD Mobile, I don't think. But like I said, I really appreciate everything they've done. Thank you guys so much. I'll be here when you guys want to come back. Trust me, you guys are going to come back one day. You'll be here. Trust me. There's no reason to leave. All right, don't give up yet. Hex and Hasher have never been quitters, so I know they'll be back. But like I said, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys for everything you've done. It's always a great thing. It's always something I enjoy. But so for the future of this channel, what we're going to be doing is covering Valorant. We're going to be doing just primarily Valorant. I want to stick to one esport at a time. I've gotten really overwhelmed doing multiple esports at a time. I'm going to start with Valorant. I'm going to cover COD Mobile towards the end of the year, around December, when I go to that LAN and really figure it out, go to Worlds for COD Mobile. And then I think I'm going to stick with those for just the time being until I can see something different. I'm really looking forward to making these videos. There'll be clips, shorts every day. There should be some 2 shorts going up today, so if you haven't checked those out, go check them out, and we'll be covering it every day. If you guys aren't familiar with the other channel where we talk discussions and all other video games, we'll have a Cyberpunk video going up on that channel, so you guys are familiar with that channel. You get to see me make my Cyberpunk discussion. I'm looking forward to that, my Cyberpunk discussion. We'll be able to go through that, and we'll go through those things as well. Look forward to making these videos for you. Thank you so much. Bless up. As always, God bless. Thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one.